vegan, cause we wouldn't degrade ourselves into cannibalism.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
God is always near to you. Every thought and idea you conceive, there is God. For God gave being to that idea and thought. Yet God is so close, you cannot see Him. Please continue watching for more teachings by Rumi, the venerated enlightened Sufi master and poet.
Salam means hello in Dari, one of the official languages of Afghanistan. Kind viewers, I am Abdul Haq. We, the Afghan people, admire your sincerity in following the noble and compassionate teachings of the ancient saints. May Allah's guiding light grace you with peace and happiness. Maulana Jalaluddin Muhammad Balkhi Rumi, known simply as Maulana in Persian and around the world as Rumi, was a poetic genius, a theologian, and an enlightened master who graced our planet 8 centuries ago. The deep and diverse influence of his legacy still remains and continues to awaken the hearts of many beyond all cultures and boundaries. His prolific work has been translated into many languages. Rumi was heir to the rich literary and cultural heritage of Persia or ancient Iran and composed his great mystical poems in the Persian language. He was born in the city of Balkh, which was part of the Persian Empire that is today found in Afghanistan. He lived and worked for most of his life under the Seljuk Empire, passing from this world in the city of Konya, which is in present-day Turkey. In addition to his poetry, Rumi's prose works, which include the Fihi, It Is What It Is, Majalis Sabah, 7 Sessions, and Maktubat, the Letters, also offer his insight and wisdom. Today we invite you to listen to Rumi's teachings from the Fihi, Discourse 45. Discourse 45. Rumi asked, "What is the name of that youth?" Someone said, "Saif al-Din, sword of the faith." Rumi said, "No one can judge a sword while it is still in its scabbard. Truly, the sword of the faith is one who defends the way, dedicates their efforts wholly to God, who reveals rightness from error, and distinguishes truth from falsehood. But first they correct themselves and improve their own character. Begin with yourself," said the Prophet. So they direct all discipline first to themselves, saying, "After all, I too am human. I have hands and feet, ears and understanding, eyes and a mouth." The prophets and saints who attained God's favor and reached their goal, they were human like me, with reason, a tongue, hands and feet. Why were they shown the way? Why is this door that was open to them closed to me? Such a person corrects themselves night and day and struggles, saying, "What did I do that I have not been accepted?" They continue until they become the sword of God and the tongue of truth. For example, 10 people want to enter a house. 9 find the way but one remains outside and is not allowed in. Certainly, this person reflects inwardly and laments, saying, "What did I do that they would keep me out? What bad manners am I guilty of?" That person attributes the fault to themselves and recognizes their own errors and lack of manners. They should never say, "God has done this to me. What can I do? It is God's will. If God willed it, I would be shown the way." Such words are tantamount to abusing God and drawing the sword against God. Such a person would be a sword against God, not the sword of God. God is far beyond having family or friends. He has not begotten and has not been begotten, says the Quran. You cannot say that those who have found the way to God were more God's kin, more His friends, or more closely connected to Him. No one has ever approached God except from below. God is all-sufficient. You are the needy ones. Nearness to God is never attained except through devotion and submission. He is the giver of givers. He fills the skirt of the sea with pearls. He clothes the thorn in the raiment of the rose. He bestows life and spirit upon a handful of dust, all without precedent, all without favorites. All the world receives their share from Him. When people hear about a generous person who bestows valuable gifts and favors, naturally they want to visit such a giver of wealth in hopes of receiving a share of that bounty. Since God's grace is so well known to the entire world, why don't you beg of Him? Why don't you ask Him for robes of honor or a rich gift? Instead, you sit in indolence, saying, "If He wants to, He will give to me." So you never ask Him for anything. A dog without reason or comprehension, when hungry, comes up to you and wags its tail, as if to say, "Give me food. I am hungry by the sight of that food you have. Please give me some." A dog knows that much. Are you less than a dog? The dog is not content to sleep in ashes and say, "If he wants to, he will throw me some food," but begs and wags its tail. So should you wag your tail and beg of God, for in the presence of such a giver, to ask is the expression of a wonderful desire. If you lack good fortune, ask from one who is not stingy and a commander of great wealth. God is always near to you. Every thought and idea you conceive, there is God, for God gave being to that idea and thought. Yet God is so close you cannot see Him. What is so strange in that? In every act you perform, reason guides you and initiates your action, but you cannot see your reason. You see its effect, but you cannot see its essence. For instance, someone goes to the baths. Wherever they go within the baths, they feel the heat of the fire, even though they do not see the fire itself. When they leave the baths, then they see the actual fire and flames. From this, they know that the heat of the baths comes from a fire. The human being is also a huge bath, and within itself dwells the heat of reason, spirit, and the lower self. But once you leave this bath and enter the other world, you see the actual essences. Then you know that intelligence comes through the glow of reason, that fallacies and pretenses radiate from the lower self, and the impulse of life itself is the result of spirit. You can clearly see the essences of all three, but as long as you are in the bath, they are invisible. you can only experience their effect. For more information, please visit rumisite.com. Thank you, magnanimous viewers, for joining us today for Words of Wisdom. Please join us again tomorrow for part 2 of this program. Coming up next is Greta Thunberg, Vegan Tells the World, Be Vegan to Save the Planet, right after noteworthy news. May you and your family be forever embraced in the love and blessings of God Almighty.
Vegan. Compassion is the precious quality to have.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Naše programy nabízejí více jazyků. Prosím, navštivte suprememastertv.com/schedule a suprememastertv.com/WOW